Okay, no more inappropriate cliffhangers. We finally have Chapter 10, Pirate Overboard. Greg and the Mystery Inc. gang stood with their backs to the railing. The pirates moved in from all directions. There was nowhere for the gang to go. We're surrounded, said Velma. I guess this is the end of Mystery Inc. We're doing all right, agreed Fred. Now, Shaggy turned to Scooby. Like it was nice owning you, buddy. Now, Scooby-Doo wasn't there. Shaggy looked all around. Buddy? Pal? Rodney! Shouted Scooby-Doo. The gang turned to see Scooby-Doo standing on the bridge behind the ship's wheel. He wore a large captain's hat and a long coat. Roll it on! The dog ordered. Shaggy and the rest of the gang dropped their swords. They whirled around and held on to the railing. Scooby-Doo spun the ship's wheel as hard as he could. The ship turned hard and tilted on one side. The skeletons fell to the deck and slid across to the other side. Grrr! The statue of Angus Grimm growled. He slowly climbed uphill toward the helpless gang. Just then, a loose cannonball rolled under his feet. The pirate lost his balance and slid across the deck with the skeletons. They all flew over the side and landed inside a hanging lifeboat. Ruby, Ruby, Roo! Scooby shouted as he pulled a lever. The smaller lifeboats dropped into the ocean below. Everyone rushed to the side of the ship. They looked to see Grimm and the skeletons piled into the small boat. The boat floated next to the big ship. A thin rope kept it from drifting away. I think it's time to unmask the bad guy, said Velma. Grrr! Angus Grimm growled up at her. Shaggy picked up a small cannonball. I learned a new trick today, he said. Like, do you want to play cannonball catch? Grimm shook his head. Okay, you win, he shouted. Each of the skeleton crew removed its mask. It turned out that they each wore a tight black mask with a white skull painted on the cloth. Grimm removed his mask, too. The younger man underneath looked a lot like the angry pirates. How did you know they were wearing masks? Asked Greg. The first clue was the weird light bulbs all around the ship, explained Velma. Shaggy pointed up. Like, there's one up there in the sail, too. Those are called black lights, continued Velma. They only put out a little bit of light to make everything look creepy, she said. But they also make white things look as if they're glowing, added Daphne. So the skeleton crew were just the men wearing tight black costumes with skeletons painted on them, finished Fred. But the biggest clue was when Shaggy and Scooby found a real Angus Grimm masthead, said Velma. That meant that someone was running around pretending to be the masthead coming to life. Greg leaned over and head the side. So who are you, anyway? The man in the Grimm costume frowned. I'm Duncan Grimm. Angus Grimm was my great-great-grandfather. So what are you doing on my ship? asked Greg. Well, when I heard about your floating museum idea, I had to put a stop to it, continued Duncan. And I would have done it too, if it weren't for you nosy kids. But why wouldn't you like an Angus Grimm museum? Asked Fred. Duncan shook his head. I didn't want any more shame being brought to the family name. It's bad enough having a name like Grimm, said Duncan. Well, you're staying put while we sail back to land, said Greg. We'll let the police sort this out. Greg turned it back to the others. Is everyone ready to set sail for shore? You bet, said Fred. We're going to need a vacation to rest from this vacation, said Velma. We can't go yet, said Shaggy. Now he and Scooby wore full diving suits with tanks, masks, and flippers. They walked over to the railing. Like, since all our food is sitting on the ocean floor, Scoob and I are going to dive down and get some snacks. Greg laughed at Shaggy. Don't worry, guys. Like I said, a friend told me all about you. That's why there's a whole other food locker full of food. Now, Fred put a hand on Greg's shoulder. That should at least hold them for the trip back. He turned back to Shaggy. He looked around. Now, Shaggy and Scooby? Shaggy and Scooby-Doo were already on their way to the second food locker. Typical. All that was left was a pair of empty diving suits. The end. Don't need this. Here's a glossary of words to learn. Costume. A costume is clothes people wear to hide who they are. Hammock. A hammock is a hanging bed made of canvas that is tied between two posts. Lever. A lever is a bar or a handle used to work or control a machine. Museum. A museum is a place where objects of art, history, or science are shown. Phony. To say that something is phony, it means it's not true or not real. Plank. A plank is a piece of wood that holds something in place, or that people walk on, depending on the use. Prank. A prank is a playful or mischievous trick. Propeller. A propeller is a rotating blade that moves the vehicle through water or air, like a helicopter. Salute. To salute means to give a sign of respect. Statue. A statue is a model of a person, or anything else really, made from wood, metal, or stone. Tattered. To say that something is tattered, it means that it's old, torn, worn, or falling apart. Vessel. A vessel is a boat or a ship. Watercraft. Boats and ships collectively. Discussion questions. Scooby-Doo got to spend some time at sea. Would you ever live on a ship? What would you like about it? What would you not like about it? Captain Grimm's ship was named the Salty Dog. Can you think of another good name for a pirate ship? A living statue of a pirate is pretty creepy. What kind of scary monster will Scooby-Doo and the gang face next? Well, that'll be something we'll see for the next book, but, And last but not least, here's some writing prompts. The Mystery Inc. gang didn't get the vacation they expected. Write about something that happened during your favorite vacation. Pirates are known for liking buried treasure. Write about how you might find some buried treasure. Fred's trap didn't go as planned. Write about how you would trap a ghost pirate. And we got 2 more of this series to look forward to for future episodes. See y'all next time.